800 calls a day. That's how packed her life was. A Rado watch on her wrist, a luxury car at her doorstep, and a bungalow in the heart of the city. That's the kind of lifestyle she lived. She even had a dog named after her own brother. And no, that's not a joke. This is the story of a small-town girl who rose to become a glamorous model. A woman who entered a world fueled by raw money and ruthless power. But at what cost? Connections with the elite, whispers of black magic, hypnosis, blackmail, and eventually, prison. Usually in other cases, police has to find someone with a motive to kill a victim. But in this case, everyone had one. The real question was, who finally did it? In this video, we expose the secrets behind her murder, the shocking double life she lived, and the question no one dares to ask. Was Aanchal Yadav a victim or something else entirely? It was just another regular morning on March 27, 2019, in the sleepy village of Danapur, about 5 kilometers from Gurur police station in Chattisgarh. A few villagers headed out to the Gangrel Bilai canal for their daily bath. But that morning, there was something sinister in the water. Floating on the surface was the body of a young woman, her hands, feet, and neck bound tightly with rope, her body battered, and her clothes soaked in blood. She was wearing a simple salwar kurti, the kind any girl next door might wear. But this was no ordinary drowning. She had been stabbed, twice in the stomach and possibly more. Her body showed signs of brutal violence. Who was she? What had she done to deserve this? Why would someone go to such lengths to make sure she never came back up? And yet, despite the horrifying scene, no one from the village could recognize her. But then, something strange caught the eye of the investigating officers, a word written on her palm in English, Yadav, and a tattoo on her left hand, still visible through the bruises. That was the first clue. The police took a photo of the body and circulated it everywhere, from nearby police stations to local WhatsApp groups. They needed a name. Fast. The tattoo, oddly enough, became the key. The image spread like wildfire, and within hours, people started recognizing her. The dead girl was Aanchal Yadav, a rising model, popular on Instagram, known across the state of Chattisgarh. But how did a well-known model end up like this? Why would anyone want her dead? Police suspected the murder hadn't happened there. Aanchal was likely killed somewhere else and brought to the canal in the dead of night. The body had been tied to jute rope and weighed down with a concrete slab, an attempt to keep it drowned underwater. But the powerful current of the Gangrel Canal had dragged her up to the surface, exposing everything. Now that they knew who she was, the police rushed to track down her family. They traced her to Vivekanand Colony in Damtari and also found out she had once lived in Raipur, the capital city. Her brother, Siddharth, was contacted first. When he saw the body at the hospital, he broke down. It was her. And just when the police thought they had figured it out, after meeting her mourning brother, another twist came up that turned everything upside down. She had vanished without a trace, right after a mysterious phone call. March 25th, Aanchal Yadav picked up a call and walked out of her house in Damtari. The call lasted less than 2 minutes. After that, she was never seen again. And just like that, she disappeared. But who made that call? What was the conversation about? And what happened after that call? The police were as puzzled as her family. Her mother and younger brother Siddharth were the last ones to see her. They said she seemed normal, no signs of fear, no hesitation. But something about that call changed everything. Investigators started digging her 2 worlds, Damtari, where her roots were, and Raipur, where she lived her double life. Because Aanchal wasn't just any small-town girl trying to make it big. With luxury cars, designer clothes, high society parties, her Instagram was a window into a lifestyle even Bollywood celebrities would envy. The provocative outfits, the seductive photos, the bold reels, her family hated it. Fights were frequent. Tension was always brimming in the house. But where was all this money coming from? Remember, she was just rising model. not yet a movie star or any decorated model for any big brand. Turns out this wasn't just about modeling. Aanchal had friends in very high places, people with power, influence, and secrets. And Aanchal? She knew exactly how to use those secrets and exploit them. She had a hard drive, and what was inside changed everything. And let me tell you, this hard drive alone could be enough reason for someone to murder her. After failing to find anything useful in Dhamtari, police raided her Raipur bungalow in a posh VIP colony. That's where they found this hard drive with a few pen drives, multiple SIM cards. Definitely, it was suspicious. The hard drive had dozens of videos, explicit footage of powerful people which were secretly recorded and stored methodically with meticulous labeling. Aanchal had been blackmailing these influential businessmen, government officers, even law enforcement officials. All the money she had came from blackmail, which means everything she owned was black money. So was this the reason she was killed? That's exactly what the police began to think. But this wasn't the first time she had used a camera as her weapon. Back in 2014, a forest officer named Uday Singh Thakur nearly lost everything because of her. He claimed she had secretly recorded an intimate moment of him and then demanded he marry her. When he refused, she dropped the bomb, approximately $230,000, or she'd slap a sexual harassment case on him. But Uday wasn't just another scared victim. He went straight to the cops. And for the first time, Aanchal found herself behind bars. But did that stop her? No, it only made her smarter, more careful, more dangerous. After jail, she returned with more flair, more followers, and deeper connections. This time, she wasn't just targeting small-town officers, she was going after the real sharks. And then came the Jagdalpur scam. She promised to sell her Dhamtari house to a man, took his money, and then refused to sell. But the problem was, she even refused to refund the money. He begged, pleaded, tried everything, but she didn't budge. That man eventually filed a case, and on March 25th, the same day she vanished, Aanchal had returned to Dhamtari for that court hearing. So the police thought maybe it was that guy who called her that evening, because he knew she was in town, and more importantly, he had motive. The videos in the hard drive gave police a long list of suspects, but no names were ever released. All the evidence suggested this wasn't a random disappearance. This was a cleanup job. Because honestly, Aanchal lived a life full of scandals and less of stardom. She was known for her beauty and feared for her secrets. With just one video call, she could destroy reputations. That's how she controlled people. But blackmail and modeling weren't her only games. You know, when ambition takes an extreme and darker turn, it becomes greed. And what came next was darker than anyone had imagined. Aanchal was obsessed with black magic, so much so that she began meeting an occultist or tantric from Kolkata. Not once, not twice, regularly. So often, in fact, that the tantrics started coming to Raipur just for her. But why would a girl, who already had everything, designer clothes, iPhones, a big car, a bungalow, be drawn to something as bizarre and dangerous as the occult? Her friends had the answer. They told the cops that Aanchal was in a hurry to become rich. She wanted to jump straight to the top, and she believed black magic could make that happen. Maybe black magic could help her manipulate people better. But this sudden interest came at a price. Because just a few weeks later, Aanchal filed a fraud case against the same tantric. In her complaint, she said he took 2 lakh rupees from her but didn't teach her anything. No miracles, no power, just lies. You see, the same girl who blackmailed others and conned a property buyer by refusing to refund money got cheated this time and filed a case in the police station. She even alleged that the tantric had sexually exploited her. So now the question was she really a victim this time? Or was this just another trap? Because she had a bad habit of using false Me Too cases as a weapon against her praise. At this point, the police began to suspect that even the tantric could be behind her murder. You see, it was like finding a needle in the haystack. But suddenly, something else drew their attention. Her brother, Siddharth, told police that on the 25th she received a mysterious call. Right after that, she walked out of the house and vanished. But when the cops checked her call detail record, there was no trace of that call. Then, what happened? Did someone make that call from a number that can't be traced? Or maybe there was no such call at all. And that brings us to the final, most chilling question. Was Aanchal really the player? Or was she just another pawn in someone else's game? From Aanchal's friends, the police got to know about the constant turmoil within her family. Arguments were a regular thing. One friend even revealed that her family disapproved of Aanchal's modeling career, especially her revealing outfits and bold presence on social media. These issues repeatedly triggered serious fights at home, but the most volatile relationship was between Aanchal and her younger brother, Siddharth. Their bond was strained beyond repair. In fact, there was even an incident where Aanchal named one of her dogs after him. That dog's name, Jimmy, was basically Siddharth's nickname. This strange detail caught the attention of the police. They had already noticed inconsistencies in Siddharth's version of events, and now their suspicion grew stronger. Based on testimonies from friends and family, the police brought Siddharth in for questioning. And after some back and forth, his story started to crack. According to his confession, it all happened on March 25, 2019. That day, Aanchal returned home with 4 dogs, together worth 80,000 rupees. One of them was named Jimmy. When Siddharth discovered this, he was furious. The insult stung. Later that evening, he stepped out to buy chicken for the dogs. But when he came back, he found Aanchal dressed in what he described as extremely revealing modern clothes. He confronted her, yelling at her. He told her she was ruining the family's reputation. Neighbors mocked them and questioned her character. For her, Siddharth couldn't get a decent girl to marry. The fight escalated quickly, and abuses were hurled back and forth. And then, Aanchal delivered the final blow. She looked Siddharth in the eyes and said, "You're worth as much as my dog. You live off my money, eat my food, and that's why I named him after you, Jimmy." That was it. Humiliated and enraged, Siddharth snapped. He grabbed a knife lying nearby and threatened her. But Aanchal didn't take him seriously. She taunted him even more. And then he struck. The first blow sent Aanchal into a panic, but instead of backing down, she fought harder. Siddharth, too, had lost all control. He kept stabbing her in her stomach again and again. The floor was soaked in blood. Their mother was home when it happened. So, hearing the screams, she rushed in and, to her shock, found Aanchal's lifeless body lying on the floor. And instead of shock or grief, what the mother felt was something else entirely: a relief. It was as if, after years of chaos, peace had finally returned to the house, as the daughter, who had become a stain on the family's reputation, was eliminated by her own brother. After the murder, Aanchal Yadav's mother and her son Siddharth began scrubbing away the evidence. Bloodstains were cleaned, the house tidied. Then came the next step: the planning to get rid of the body. Aanchal's lifeless body was bound with a rope and stuffed into the trunk of a car. But before disposing of it, Siddharth dropped his mother at a hospital, claiming she was unwell. It was a calculated move, so that later, when the police started asking questions, there would be medical records proving Aanchal's mother was hospitalized on the day of the murder. Once she was admitted, Siddharth drove off with the body and dumped it into a canal. Siddharth finally confessed that it was him who had hidden all her belongings: a Rado watch, expensive bracelets, and earrings. He hid the items within a lamp by unscrewing its panels. Finally, the case went to court. Siddharth Yadav was sentenced to life imprisonment, and his mother received a 3-year sentence for aiding in the cover-up and being complicit in the murder. But you see, Aanchal Yadav herself was no less of a criminal. She was a woman who was morally corrupt and willing to go any length for money. She would blackmail people, threaten them with false legal cases, even fabricate accusations of sexual harassment. And that way, she mercilessly shattered a lot of lives, and she had no regrets for that. But that doesn't justify the murder, of course. What Siddharth did was undeniably wrong. The irony is that he didn't even kill her because of her crimes. What he did was more like an honor killing, driven by her bold lifestyle, her social circle, her revealing clothes, and his own ego, jealousy, and patriarchal pride. So, what do you think about this layered case of today? I know this case will leave you guys with divided opinions, and I want to know about that in the comment section below. Let the debate start. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. See you soon in the next.